Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing this Zendaya Odyssey Premiere Glam. I am obsessed with the look. I love how her inner corner was done, her blush, the overly bronzy look. And I felt like this kind of takes away from the blush blindness, but at the same time gives you more blush. I really do not know how to explain it. This is how we have started our skin prep. We're doing the Anoa facial mist. Use any that you have to hydrate your skin, and then go ahead with your milky toner on top. I'm using the Road one, and then I'm going ahead with the highlighting milk to bring that glow back. You can use anything that gives you the glow. To be honest, the whole idea is that you should have from the glow from within kind of skin instead of applying highlighters and glowy makeup on top. Now with this, I have learned that I have to go in circular motion for this to blend into my skin, and if I want this to sit on top, I have to swipe, because again, this highlighting milk comes with glittery or sparkly specks into it, and if you blend into it, you start seeing the milking on your skin. So I just started to swipe it on my skin, and that's how I get the best application out of highlighting milk. I also went ahead with a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless stick. I used the shade number 4, which I feel like is a little dark than my own complexion. Shade number 3 is my match, but use a whatever I have, right? And then I'm going in with my foundation. I'm using shade number 4.1 from Armani. It's one of the best foundations if you feel like you want to get that red carpet glow or smooth base. This is the one foundation that will never give up on you. It will actually show when you put it on the skin. How I like to use it is I take the pump on the back of my hand, one pump, and then whatever's left I pick it on my brush, and then I will start, placing it on my face or blending wherever I've placed the foundation. What this does, it gives you very light buildable coverage, and if you want more, you can tap your brush once more on the back of your hand where you will have a decent amount of foundation. This way you are not overdoing your foundation. You're not seeing the foundation around the nose or certain areas where it is pretty common to see excessive foundation. This makes it easy. This makes it easy to blend. Plus, it makes it look very natural, very seamless. Now, as for concealer, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury concealer, which I feel like Zendaya's makeup artist Ernesto might have used as well. I'm not sure. Um, Well, this is one of my favorite concealers. I like using this. The trick to our application today is that I'm using the Kosas brightener in the shade Magic on the inner corner, and that's actually going to create that highlighted inner corner shape for us. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm blending that inner corner highlight before I blend my concealer, and you can already see the placement where I'm going to place a white or bright eyeshadow later. This is called mapping. This is a common thing that happens when pro makeup artists are doing makeup on celebrities. They use bronzer or contour for the outer crease. So imagine I'm doing the same thing but on the inner corner with an eye brightener. And instead of it just being focused under the eye where the eye bags are, I'm taking it over as well, only in the inner corner, creating that halo. Should I call it halo? No, let's just call it Zendaya effect to get that eye like the open highlighting eye. I've placed the highlighting or brightening concealer on the inner corner. Yes, I like to blend them together on the under eye. You can do however, but I like my layers or my colors to be cohesive, and I want them to blend into each other seamlessly. So this is the reason why my last step is going with the brush all over except for the eyes. Now we're going ahead with the bronzer. I'm using the Road one in the shade Sunbed. Contrary to everybody's opinion, I love these. I don't understand why people hate them so much. They blend seamlessly. They blend like butter, but you gotta have your application right. You gotta be using your right tools. This is the same thing I'm using to map my eyes out. The same way I explained earlier how makeup artists like to do. With me, I do not swipe this product. I will tap. Somewhere in between, I might swipe, but that is after I have blended everything in the place I want my bronzer to be. It's very smooth. If you've not given them a try, come by any Sephora and give these bronzers a try. They're amazing. The color range is amazing. I've not seen one single brand do that kind of color range for bronzers, especially if the bronzers are not leaning red tone or yellow toned. Now, let's blend the one on our eyes. It's gonna be on the outer side. You can also use that to bring it forward and create that crease shape. So the highlighting thing looks like a C. The brightener that we placed should look like a C, but not like a sharp C. It should look like a blended C. What this will do is it's just gonna help you bring that warmth to carve it out. I'm using this Givenchy pressed powder to set everything in place, although the Charlotte Tilbury concealer is self-setting. You don't need much powder, but because we want this look to be smooth and seamless, we are applying powder. Now, trick with this is that I use the pink shade, the light pink one, for my highlighted portion of the eye. I did not mix all the quads in for this. Now, for blush, we will be using the Hourglass Scene. This is really good because I know in the picture Zendaya had a peachy pink, and I know exactly that this shade is that blush. Instead of like using a pink, I chose peach because that's what I'm seeing on Zendaya at the red carpet. And just a heads up, that's not the only blush we will be using. Yeah, that's a typical, but still, that's not the only blush. We're using this Soft Blur Makeup by Mario bronzer in the shade medium, and this is going to be my crease shade. So this blends into my bronzer that is on the outside of my brow, so it all just looks lifted, natural, and nicely evenly bronzed. You can see how I'm bringing the fluffy brush on the inner corner as well. What this does is that it creates that lifted shade that I was earlier talking about. What this will do is that this will create that socket where we have to place our white eyeshadow. And then this way, your bronzer is melting into the bronzer outside of your brow bone, but it's also connecting to the one on your eyelid. Now we will be using the Ethereal Eye palette from Makeup by Mario, and I'm just going to nicely tap the shimmer on the middle of my eye. I'm not taking it all the way to the inner corner, and I'm tapping it to the max. Like, I don't want to get the chunky glitter, but I want to get the reflective glitter. I'm using this Bone matte eyeshadow from the same palette. What I'm doing is I'm creating that soft blur socket before I place the white eyeshadow. Now what this will do, it's not going to be sharp when you will place the white eyeshadow. Normally if you just do the white eyeshadow, it's just going to look chunky. It's not going to look like a gradient. For that reason, I've placed something that's semi light, but it is also matching the sparkle or the bottom shade of my sparkle that I laid before the shade. And you can already see how I've just shaped my eyes, but I just have to place a white eyeshadow. And for that exact reason, I've taken this ancient relic out of my drawer because I didn't have a white bright shade in any of the new palettes, which is so strange and sad at the same time that none of these brands are making bright and fun shades or bright whites, knowing how much of these colors we play with when it comes to red carpet or fun makeup in general. So I think makeup artists or any brands that are watching this video or you guys send it to them, please bring back fun palettes because this is an ancient relic and I wish I had such colors in the newer palettes. Now I'm using the eyeliner from Anastasia closer to my lash line. I do see Zendaya has a black eyeliner by her lash line, so this is just me applying it, but this is not the only eyeliner I'm going to be using today. I'm also going to use a gel eyeliner to tightline because that's the part when you place your lashes. It makes your eyelashes look full. It makes your eyes look bright. It makes your eyes look very shaped, very cat eyes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm using the Hung Van Go gel eyeliner. This is one of my favorites. This does not transfer. You can cry in it. Your eyeliner is not going anywhere. It's the blackest of all black. I've tried, and Urban Decay comes after this. This has taken the lead by a margin for me. I'm so sorry if you're loyal to your Urban, but this is my version of using an Urban eyeliner for my type line. For mascara, I'm using the Ilia Limitless Lash. This is one of my favorite mascaras, and I always reach out for it. And I also use the Shiseido Lash Curler on top. That's one of my favorites too. And just like that, we will place our lashes right after. You can see how my lashes already looks. My lashes look really good. But if you feel like, hey, no, I want to leave it at this, you can. I'm using the Lily Lashes half lash on top. This is something that I like. I like using these. All those Zendayas were just a little spiky. Now I'm using the Hourglass palette for blush topper. This has a little bit of glow. That's the reason why I chose this as a blush topper. But you can use whatever you're comfortable using, to be honest. You do not have to go ahead and find the Hourglass palette. I'm going to top that with Huda Beauty Toasty Peach palette just to bring that warmth back. And a little more peach. I felt like that's something that was lacking, maybe because my camera is also blinded by the blush blindness, but every single time I sit in front, I'm just like packing more blush on. Now going ahead with the same bronzer, I'm going to put that on the face after we have placed it on the eyes, and now you can already see how this bronzer is connecting with the bronzer I've placed on my eye. You do not see the sharp line. Taking another ancient relic, I am now placing Champagne Pop on my face. I feel like in the photos Zendaya had a glow. I think she used the unreleased Charlotte Tilbury highlighting stick, but I don't know if it's unreleased. Correct me if I'm wrong though. And then that had the champagne gold base layer to it, which this highlighter has. Most of my highlighters have cool tones, so I just skipped those and use this one. For lip combo, we're using one of the new lip contour shades from Rode. This is the shade Squeeze. I'm going to use this for lip contouring and then use the Anastasia Deep Taupe on top just to shape around the cupid's bow and on the bottom lip. This is fairly cool tone, but by cool tone, it leans more like a cool tone olive. It's like a warmer cool tone that has a warm base, like warm browns, warm olives. You'll see shortly. It's not in the same shade range as Endless Cacao. Usually, when someone does cool tone, they have a little bit of pink to it to balance it off, but this has no pink. To bring that pink back, I'm using Deep Taupe because Deep Taupe is like the cool tone nude. It is beige base, yes, but it also has a little bit of pink to it. That way, my lips are ready for the lipstick on top. And the lipstick we're using is the stick. I don't know if they're called stick, but just like the lipstick from Kosas in the shade Malibu. That's the one that I feel like will match Zendaya's wife from the red carpet because she had like a really cool tone lip liner with a pale pink in the middle. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm using the lipstick. I feel like this is the most slept on product and not a lot of people use it. But if you ever get the chance to, it is hands down one of the best lipsticks to try. Now, this is the last step to our lip combo. We're going to add a clear gloss on top. This is the glossiest clear gloss, and I controversial opinion, I like this over MAC lip gloss. But this completes our makeup look. This is how it looks, and this is after setting spray, which I forgot to show you guys. But this is the complete makeup look. If you liked it, let me know in the comment down below. I would really appreciate it if you guys could comment it down, how you liked it, and subscribe to see more from me. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.